You're watching Central Illinois on the Record.
All right, welcome back. We are joined by Mark Maxwell, the Capitol Bureau Chief. You've seen him on WMVD, WYZZ, and right here, of course, on CIOTR. You work out of Springfield, and you are the host of Capitol Connection, which airs on several stations across the state. And as I alluded to at the beginning of this program, it's also going to air on these channels right here in the Peoria, Bloomington market as well, because this is the last episode of Central Illinois on the Record.
Yeah, we're excited. Big shoes to fill.
Thank you.
But to that point, yeah, we're kind of a cousin, a very similar type of programming to the political coverage, the interviews that you've had. The connotation Capitol Connection brings with it just that we try to keep our viewers connected to what's going on in state politics. And we have interviews with all the candidates running for governor, the governor himself, members of Congress. Tammy Duckworth, Senator Duckworth is on this week. So we try to do what we can to ask those tough questions of our elected officials and see what answers we can get and sprinkle a little reporting in along the way. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you shoot the show out of the state capitol, but as you just mentioned, it's not simply focused on state politics. You are connected to Washington, D.C. as well.
Right, and so just like, we have Face the Nation earlier where that covers the whole week of politics, this is our half hour just after that to do the same at the state level. So we can basically bring almost a news magazine together of just all the biggest moments that happened throughout the week. And if you've been busy working all week long and you just couldn't get any of it, set your DVR for Sunday morning at 10:30 and you can catch up on all the biggest moments right there in a pretty compact spot.
And for the people who are wondering, even though you are constantly interviewing the people who are in the Springfield area, you're also catching up with lawmakers from all across the state. You are getting the biggest names in politics in Illinois.
Well, right, we try to. And I know you've done a great job of that at this show. You and the producers here have booked a lot of really good guests, and we try to do the same. But for instance, I'm not necessarily tethered to the State House. If there's a big event happening in Chicago or in Carbondale or in Rockford, we go and we get the story and bring it back. And so while we host the show from inside the State House, right there, just a stone's throw from the governor's office on the first floor, we're still bringing to you on Sunday the best stories, the biggest political stories of impact that happened throughout the week. So yeah, we'll go to the story wherever they are, and then we'll bring it to you on Sunday from the show.
And to as if that wasn't enough, it's an election year. So yeah, we're also following the races.
Maybe you've heard.
Yeah, right. We're following the races, the race for governor, obviously statewide offices at every level, and the state houses and state house and Senate seats are up.
This is such a huge year. I mean, talk about the year after the historic election year in 2016. Now we're facing down the barrel of a midterm, so every single congressional race is interesting. We focus a lot on the Central Illinois races, and we've done that well. We'll continue to do that, but there's nothing bigger than the governor's race, right? I mean, we're on track to break a fundraising record for any governor's race in American history. That's huge. That's historic for so many reasons, and it's a turning point in state government. There's really an interesting debate to make about how we make the state budget, how the candidates differ. There's a lot of really interesting stuff, and it's July, so we've only got a few months left to really flesh out and bring into clearer focus what are the biggest differences between the candidates running for the state's top job.
Yeah, and there's, as you alluded to, a lot of money, obviously, at the top of the ticket. But it trickles down, and we certainly can't get through a commercial break at any time without seeing
our
these
apologies for that, by the way.
Nothing we can do about it. It helps keep us on air.
Right. Well, and that's interesting. I've heard from some political consultants, campaign advisors, from people like, say, in the Attorney General's race or in other state house races. They like politics just like we do, but they look at this just deluge of governor's race ads, and they're like, how do we break through all that noise? And what they're telling me is places like this. They call it earned media, but for them to come on a show like this and talk about something, they see that avenue as a bigger outlet for their ideas and their expressions and how they can articulate what their campaign is all about as a higher priority than maybe they would in another year where their ad gets just as much play as the other guy. But when the governor's race is just saddling everything down with so much saturation, they have to come to us, the reporters, to talk about their ideas. And so we don't mind that so much.
No, not at all. All right. Well, Mark, thank you very much for spending some time with us. And for you at home, Mark Maxwell is the man who is going to take over this time slot of Central Illinois on the Record. He is the host of Capital Connection. So, Mark, thank you very much for spending some time with us. For now, you are watching Central Illinois on the Record, and we will be right back.